You ask any gardener around on any platform, and you ask them this question: what can I do to make my plants grow better? Some will tell you make sure you get the right variety or the right seed. But most of them, including myself, will tell you the best thing you can do as a gardener is compost. And fall is the perfect time of year to start composting. The material is in abundance. So I've got several of these pallet bins. This is just free pallets. You can get them anywhere. And I take my push mower and just start making piles of leaves in these compost bins. When you bag them, you will get some grass in them that is still green. Make sure that you pack them down tight as you can. Now, if you have access to green, which that's why I plant so many turnip greens, I will start layering greens on this and just keep piling this up till it's up to here, and I will add water to it, because all you need to compost is you need to have browns, you need to have greens, you need to have water, and you do need to aerate it. So turn it if you can. Some of these I do turn, some of them I just let set, lazy composting way. Eventually, all this will turn into great soil that you can use. Now, you can just take and make big piles of leaves like we all used to love to jump in as we was a kid. Make big piles of them, bigger the better, and just let them set. Eventually, they will turn into supercharged leaf mold, which is great for your plant. It'll take a little longer, but you're going to be gardening. All you got to do is wait for it to happen. I have about 6 or 7 big piles around here. So just take and make big piles. If you live in an area where people bag their leaves and they put them in those paper bags and they set them out on the curb for the city to pick up, grab them. Come just pile them up, bag and all. Eventually it'll be something you can use. Now what I do is I take the tractor and I just make these big piles all out through the woods. And then eventually these will start to break down into usable compost that you can use. Now you will get some topsoil when you do it this way, but let this pile just set. This one's about 2 years old. I have 2 other ones up by the greenhouse that were 3 years old that I'm working out of. So if you're going to be composting is a commitment. It's not something that you just make a pile and you're done. This is something you need to be doing time and time again, because if you're going to be a great gardener, you need to learn to compost. Now this pile you see here, behind me is grass clippings and sawdust and leaves that I've crushed up. Everything that you need in a pile. It's even got coffee grounds in it from a local coffee shop that give me buckets after buckets after buckets. So this pile right here is working on 1.5 years. By next spring, it will be ready to go. Okay, here's some key points. If you look at my garden, this garden is 100% organic. There is no synthetic fertilizer in this garden anywhere. I did have to start composting because I did not want to keep putting the synthetic fertilizer in this garden. All right, so okay, here's some key points about composting. Number 1, make sure that you put your compost pile in a convenient location. The more convenient it is, the more likely you are to stay with it. Number 2, fall is the absolute best time to start composting because you have an abundance of material that's available to you this time of year. You still have some greens from the grass that hasn't went dormant yet, and the leaves are falling. Bag them up, start a pile, and get going after it. Number three, you got to start the game before you can finish the game. Start composting. Make big piles of leaves like I showed you. Get 3 pallets. Start your 3 or 5 bin. Turn it, you'll get there quicker. Or get you a compost tumbler. Or they got compost towers. Whatever it takes, just start composting. And number 4, there's no such thing as too much compost. Build them bins, pile them up, get started today. In the long run, you will be glad you did, because when you're using your own compost, you'll find out that it's much better than what you buy, because it usually has a lot of sand in it, and it will supercharge your gardening game to a level that you didn't think you could achieve. And making your own compost is absolutely the best way to, if you grow it, you know it.